Against the Grain.
Loaded. We back, man, with another segment of Against the Grain, man. Everybody show the hoodies real quick, man. Show the three boys. Y'all know what it is, boy. Got Nick P, Will Chamberlain, and New Money Bees. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't ask me why he's new money. Don't ask me why he's new money. Just know he's new money and acting brand new. Nick P.
Yo.
People, what we talking about today, bro?
Yo, CEO Nick, fan favorite. I'm in the building. So, Dre, you good, bro?
Huh?
You dropped something? You look down.
I'm good, dog.
Hey, come on, Paul. Let's get this thing rolling.
Check this out. So, early this morning, I was up looking at this old Breakfast Club interview with Kodak Black, and he was just talking about how he really don't have mentors in the game, and he was doing everything by himself. And then in recent events, I know like some new NBA players, some young NBA players like Zion, and they've been speaking out against the older players, like coming at them, right? Like being critical of their game. So it just seems kind of like, our youth, Black youth, we're resistant against mentorship. So I'm gonna kick it off to you first, bro. Why is it that our youth is resistant against mentorship, regardless of the industry or field?
I think it stems back to us idolizing struggle. Like we feel like if we didn't struggle for it, we didn't work that hard for it, or we don't actually deserve it. Like, even for somebody that has help, you still got to put in the work, whether somebody gives you the game or not. And I don't think we understand that. And by us getting mentorship, we feel like we don't deserve it as much, or we can't take as much credit for it because we didn't struggle, or we feel like we didn't struggle for it or work as hard for it.
That's a bar. Totally agree with that, honestly. I mean, we have this weird complex to where like, we're like, hey, bro, I got out the mud, you know what I'm saying? I was shot 16 times, stabbed, had to, drag myself to the freeway in order to just get the job. Man, and once I got to that job application, I fell down some stairs and broke my leg, you know what I'm saying? Then I had my interview with a wire shut jaw. You know what I'm saying? After all of that, bro, I still got the job. It's like, bro, it's okay if you could just walk in and get the job and be fine, you know what I'm saying? So we had this weird...
You drove yourself to the job in your own vehicle. It's okay.
You know what I'm saying? I took 16 buses, 4 Metro Links, and I actually parachuted all the way down to the interview.
In a private jet.
All right, and I broke all 10 toes. I didn't know what could happen. But yeah, it was just weird stuff that we often do. Then the Black community kind of just idolize the struggle rather than be like, hey, if somebody like connected you to this resource, you able to get that position or get that network, that's just as fine as well, rather than doing 1,000 applications and getting pulled in for.
Yeah. Work smarter, not harder.
Work smarter, not harder. That's the greatest way to say it. But I'm through the example of, I guess, more the point that we have an authority complex. Like, we all grew up in mainly households where, our mother or father, if they were both present in the households, more so talked at us. So it wasn't really a collaboration of what you want to eat or something like that. It's like, look, I just made this, whatever it is, you gonna eat it till it's gone. It ain't really an opinion, it ain't whatever that's going on. We got food in there, shut up, go eat it type thing, bro. What's your opinion? It really doesn't matter, you a child, whatever the case is, or even got to your adolescence or your preteens. Like, it didn't really matter. Because you don't really have a collaborative type of relationship or even communication until you get much older. Like, until I got about 16, 17, or 18 is when I really started having dialogue with my mom that evolved past, and how was your day? Oh, it was cool. And then going to my, wherever it was, and then going like that. Like, really just talking about some of the things that I was experiencing growing up. Didn't happen until much later on. And my dad, Rocky from jump. I didn't like my pops, and respectfully, pops, if you watching, it's love. I love you now. I always loved you. Hey, cut that out. So I always loved you. I always loved you. We had a rocky relationship till I was about 16, honestly. So I finally got the dialogue where I can talk to him about things, where I can have a conversation where he would be like, you don't know, you young, or shut up, or you the child, and nothing like that. Like, no, I got something to say. I think it's of some value. So to have someone who's completely a stranger come to you and be like, hey, man, you doing this wrong. You need to do this better. It's like, bro, who is you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who are you? No, we can't even build to have a collaborative relationship because I'm already defensive because I didn't have that, great relationship growing up with mentors, family members, or your first mentors who are your mother and father, who kind of instilled confidence, trust in you, and really valued your opinion. So how can you get that from a complete stranger in that capacity to build like that adequate mentorship?
Yo, so I will say this. I believe everything starts off with a blueprint. And for me, I received that blueprint from, you know what I'm saying, one of my best friends, my day ones, Keenan. Kibo, if you watching, shouts out.
Got
Because, you know, that was the first time I actually saw a Black family on display on a day-to-day basis. And the way a family functioned, you know what I'm saying, from the conversations, just from a mom making dinner in the kitchen to everybody sitting down and eating together. Like for me, like there's some there's some sitcom shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't see that because in my household where I came from, yo, you hungry? I'll order a pizza, or why don't you go get you something real quick? And mom just laying down in her room. She done had a long day, stressed out, anxiety, all that other shit. So for me to see a healthy blueprint, that's when it clicked like, yo, it's important for us to have a mentor and for us to see the blueprint. And I don't think enough of us see the blueprint for us to really value a blueprint and to really value mentorship.
That's about.
Beezy, did you have a blueprint?
I mean, I didn't. So this is crazy. Like for me, I was just like, I know this ain't it. I'm like, I know the way this is being done right now isn't it. So what's the opposite of this? Has to be what works. Like with everything, whether it's life, relationships, business, you see enough of what don't work, you gotta be like, yo, let me go the opposite direction because everybody's going this way. And like, but to Will's point, everybody idolize and struggle. Like, man, we doing it hard. We gotta do it. But it's like, dog, that way look easier. I don't know why we going this way. It look easier over here. Like they're like, no, we don't want to do that. We ain't gonna do that. So like, I think one of the biggest problems like mentorship is that you have to take that alternate road to actually get there. Like you have to do what you look at the culture today, bro. Look at Black culture today. If you lived and died by Black culture, what would that make your life equate to? Struggle. Dog. Like everything Black culture teaches is like destruction. So you gotta be like, yo, let me go the opposite way of what the culture is telling me, because the culture set me up for failure, and the culture is funded by people who don't care if I succeed or not.
Who gave us culture? That was my next question.
Who's investing in the culture? Because then culture is paying somebody else some money and they're keeping us broke. But that's a whole other segment, whole other podcast, whole other day.
Oh, no discussion.
But you want to build Black family. We talk about that all the time about Black love.
Don DeMarco.
Generational wealth. We need Black love first. Nick, you always say that. We need Black love first before we can have wealth. We need Black families. And in all, like you said, you have to look at like, yo, this is a family situation that I can admire. But you also, I'm sure you've seen more people than not bash that blueprint. Like, man, he got it easy. He got two parents in the household. They got good jobs, man. Man, he's spoiled. Like,
and that's the goal.
The goal.
It's the goal.
For real. No, that's real. That's
supposed to happen.
Great point. But like, I had two parents in the household, and I was extremely blessed for it. Like, it's crazy seeing that dyad of like having your mother and father, and it was so foreign. And most people in my friend circles, like a lot of my friends didn't even know their dad, which is like crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't even know who he was. If he walked down the street, had no idea, couldn't pinpoint him type thing. So like, I was genuinely blessed from that perspective of having that dyad household. But you also had to make sure it was healthy. Like, and without getting too deep into their business, because I love them dearly, but it was some time where that household was a war zone for real. It's like I was very relieved not to come home, or like if I had to escape, like in the streets or wherever I was at, that was great because I didn't want to come home to like it was just nasty. I just put it like that. It wasn't a good place. It wasn't a lot of love there. It wasn't a lot of fostering. They did the best they could, and I applaud them. They were young, trying to figure things out. But like, you got to make sure it's a healthy dynamic as well, because that can easily erode that concept of what a mother and a father or love or relationship is supposed to be if you don't have a healthy example. Like, I was more relieved when they split. So I'm like, oh wow, peace. Like, I come home, it's not arguing, it's not shit getting thrown everywhere, it's not this and this and that. It's like peace. Like there's a quiet. It's like my mom not crying, my dad not over there stressed out. Like it's just like they just kind of doing their own thing. And honestly, my dad and I didn't have a great relationship, until that piece was fostered elsewhere. And then that mentorship could happen then, because I can actually have a dialogue with him, because he valued me more, not seeing me. Like, it was a foregone conclusion. I came home, my son's there, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm taking care of the house. He's good, he's healthy, I'm doing what I need to do. And then that concept of me not being there, him like, oh, I actually miss my son. Let me see how he's doing. Let me actually talk to him rather than talk at him. And we built a relationship in that capacity more so than that earlier version of a household, which I was very relieved to not be a part of once they split. So,
it's real. So to get back to it, I wanna ask one more question. How can we begin to change the culture viewpoint on Will, to your point, on struggle and not glorifying the struggle? What do people need to begin to do? How do we really begin to channel a different way of life, a different way of thinking, in order for us to really move the needle in the right direction? Whether it's mentorship, whether it's a crab in the bucket mentality, whatever it is, how do we begin to advance the culture?
And it's pretty much basically like Bees and Dre been saying. It starts with being fostered in the home. So like everything that you initially think of, or your initial ideas that you take out into the world, come from inside your home. So until we can collectively as a people can make the norm a family atmosphere, a healthy family atmosphere, then that idea of struggle is not going to change, because we're going to continue to struggle. And that's what we're going to see.
That's an Instagram.
we are the pod.
No, I agree with that 1,000%, because a lot of stuff I'm doing right now, as far as like just teaching and creating content around, is centered around like masculinity and manhood when it comes to like household. And I was talking to my auntie, and she's a pastor, and we were just talking about like how it's gonna sound weird, but Black families aren't planned. Like we don't.
It's not weird at all.
So it's like,
No.
think about everything you want to do in life, right? Think about everything you want to do in life. You want to have a career. There's a plan to get there. There's a path to get there. You want to be more, improve your fitness. There's a plan to get there. You want to make more money. There's a plan to get there. You want to invest. There's a plan to get there. You want to retire. There's a plan to get there.
Blueprint.
And then we say the foundation of all of that still goes, to Will's point, it goes all the way back to the household and those norms, those behaviors. So it's like, yo, why don't we plan that thing? The thing that's the most important thing. If we plan that, the rest of the stuff is easy because we have the environment that's conducive. And that's just what I've been on, like maybe the last few months. I've been kind of like zooming out, like, what is it that is causing these dynamics? It's like, yo, I think it's just time for men to, especially Black men, to be like, yo, man, we are more than what people say we are. We don't have to fall into a media message of like, yo, we're gonna be thugs, we're gonna be gangsters, we're gonna be killers, we're gonna be you know what I'm saying, any of these negative images, or we're gonna be absent fathers. We're not gonna do these things. We're going to plan our families. And that's really a man's job, is to like, yo, I'm gonna plan how my family's about to go for the next 5 years. And that's a skill we're not taught, because who gonna teach us that if we didn't have that environment, right? Like, who teaches you to plan when they didn't plan? So it's like, yo, so you gotta like have a whole mind warp to be like, yo, you gotta be very, very observative of the world and society to have that thought. Like Will says, like, yo, it start with the home. People probably know that thought, but what made them not, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it start with the home. So we gotta, I think men is the foundation of like, yo, let's step into this kinghood, and they say, yo, I'm finna take responsibility for what happens for my family for the next 10 years. And then everything else falls into plate. Like everything falls into plate from there. And then your child starts off at a better situation than you did. And that's really all we can do as humans. We're only gonna be here for maybe 100 years, and it's up to the next generation and what foundation we set. If they follow the plan or not, it's up to them, but at least give them the opportunity to follow the plan. I think we have a lot better chance of success as a people.
I can wrap on my point, because you all made excellent points, both Will and Pete. I couldn't have said it any better. And I think that home aspect, as well as like that overall arching theme of like planning that blueprint, and that's to Nick's point as well. But there's two things that I wrote while both of you were talking, because I was inspired by what both of you were saying. But the things that I wrote down, the quotes, was it's a certain confidence that you got to have to be coachable. There's a confidence within yourself to be like, okay, I can accept constructive criticism because I know it's not coming from a place of malice or ill intent. It's coming from a place that you are in this, position that I aspire to be one day, and that you are giving me game coming from a loving, wise perspective. You know what I'm saying? You can be intelligent about a lot of things, but wisdom comes through experience, like living through that, gaining knowledge, and then regurgitating that knowledge to someone who could receive that. So like it takes a certain type of confidence that you have within yourself to be like, I'm going to humble myself enough to know that I know nothing. Like, that's fine. I can be a sponge. Like, I can agree with certain things you say and disagree with certain things, and that's perfectly fine, because that's a mentor relationship. Not everything you say is going to be 1,000% right, but I know it's coming from a genuine spot of trying to better me so I can receive that in high regard. And the second thing I wrote was instilling love and teachable moments. So, you know what I'm saying? So like when you have a mistake, and this is coming from more of a parental aspect, or even like it's still mentorship, but like when you have a mistake, having a teachable moment. This is where you fell short. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's not the end of the world. It's not going, the sun will still rise tomorrow and things like that. You made a mistake, and we're going to address the mistake, and we're going to learn from that mistake and create a teachable moment. And then I want to instill love in you regardless of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna still encourage. Instill courage into you. I'm gonna instill like knowledge. I'm gonna instill like these aspects, these core foundational pieces. I'm gonna break down the teachable moment. I'm gonna break down the mistake. And we're gonna be very raw and honest about that mistake. But I'm also gonna instill confidence, courage, and knowledge so you don't have to keep repeating this mistake. And we build collaboratively. It's not me talking down to you, it's not me destroying you. It's breaking down the problem. You aren't the problem. I'm going to break down the problem at its core and still build you up as a person around that problem, so that we negate that. You know, we negate that negativity and we embrace coachable moments. So excellent points pulling from both Beezy and Will. It's just a dyad of blending those things together to be confident enough to receive that coaching, but also instilling love, confidence, courage, and all those key attributes to make sure you're better from that moment.
So look, I just want to say shout out, man, because all three of y'all, man, really dropped some major jury doing this episode, man, in which, man, hopefully the our fans, our listeners, they feel the same. Hey, Will, tell their ass what to do next.
Hey, y'all know what it is. Same as always. Make sure you go to YouTube, like and subscribe, leave some comments, let us know what you think. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate the feedback. You know what I'm saying? We always want it. And then go over to Facebook, Twitter, and IG and follow us at ATG Pod 3.
And also connect with us on Hinge. We a package deal, all four of us on Hinge. Come holler at us.
I'll trade them. I'm out.
I'm only on there at Christmas time.
We still dropping every Friday. At where? At where, Beezy?
Mama.
Your mama house.